For decades, Al Pacino has been regarded as one of the defining faces of American cinema. He has been celebrated by audiences around the world and immortalized by the Golden Oscar statuette. Yet behind that seemingly flawless image, Pacino has long carried secrets hidden from the public eye. He once shared an intense, decades-long love affair with Diane Keaton. And when she passed away, Al Pacino was immediately investigated after several pieces of evidence suggested he might have been connected to her death. But that was not all. A few former friends of his accused the actor, now in his 80s, of not only using illegal substances, but also personally cultivating marijuana inside his Palisades estate in New York. At first, everyone dismissed it as nothing more than the eccentric habit of a lonely artist, until some neighbors claimed that strange vehicles were seen frequently entering and leaving the property late at night. People began to wonder, was Pacino hiding disturbing secrets about marijuana, or even about Diane Keaton's death? What is Al Pacino's life really like today? The answer unfolds in today's video. Al Pacino, the star of The Godfather, Scarface, and Scent of a Woman, grew up in South Bronx amid hardship and loss. His mother Rose fell into severe depression after being abandoned by her husband when Pacino was only 2 years old, and at one point even attempted to end her life. "Poverty drowned her," he once said. When she died at just 43, and soon after his grandfather Vincenzo passed away as well, Pacino's childhood world collapsed. He later described it as the darkest period of his life and admitted that he underwent therapy for 25 years to overcome it. After moving to New York, he constantly battled poverty, often sleeping on friends' couches and drifting from one bar to another. That unstable existence continued until he met Charles Laughton, the great teacher who opened the path of acting for him. Laughton not only taught him technique, but also reignited his inner fire. Pacino became obsessed with reading the works of James Joyce and Arthur Rimbaud, spending countless days and nights honing his craft. "Acting is something I must do," he once said, "because only when I'm on stage do I truly understand who I am." The stage became the place where Pacino found meaning in life, a sanctuary where he could transform pain and longing into art. In 1972, Francis Ford Coppola saw something in Al Pacino that the rest of Hollywood had yet to recognize. Although Paramount wanted Robert Redford or Warren Beatty for the role, Coppola was resolute. "I just can't get Al Pacino out of my mind." On his first audition day, Pacino stumbled in reeking of alcohol, forgot his lines, and nearly got rejected. But only a few weeks later, when the camera captured Michael Corleone coldly pulling the trigger in that restaurant scene, the entire film world understood why Coppola had been so adamant. That performance earned Pacino his first Oscar nomination and opened the door to an era of legend. But fame always comes with a terrible price. After The Godfather Part 2, Pacino spiraled into crisis. He was exhausted, drowning in alcohol, and later admitted he had lost himself in the glare of the spotlight. It wasn't until he accepted the role in Dog Day Afternoon, playing a desperate bank robber driven by love, that he rediscovered a reason to keep going. That film not only brought him another Oscar nomination, but also became the emotional medicine that pulled him out of the abyss. "I read the script," he recalled, "and suddenly I felt alive again." In 1977, Pacino tried to distance himself from alcohol. But it wasn't a clean, decisive break. It became a slow, smoldering battle that dragged on for years. He admitted that he never truly quit, only learned how to manage it, much like learning to live with darkness. "There are nights when I still dream of the smell of whiskey," he confessed. "It's a part of me, a part I always have to keep watch over." Yet life never loosened its grip. Twice he went bankrupt, and more than once he accepted roles simply because he needed the money. Still, Pacino remained steadfast in his craft, the only thing that ever kept him sane. "I've made a few movies even I don't want to watch again," he said. "But that's the price of freedom. Sometimes you have to wade through the mud just to avoid drowning." Still, no amount of hardship could erase the brilliance he built. 8 Academy Award nominations, 1 triumphant win for Scent of a Woman, and dozens of iconic performances all have made him a symbol of endurance. At 80, Pacino still carries that calm, fiery gaze, deep and unflinching, the same gaze that once made audiences fall silent when he appeared on screen. He is a man who has walked through his own hell and emerged as one of Hollywood's enduring legends. Famous for his indulgent lifestyle since his career's peak, even in his 80s, Al Pacino seems unwilling to abandon his taste for excess. His lavish mansion in Palisades, New York has become a symbol of luxury and of secrets few can guess. Purchased in 1979 for $375,000, the property spans more than 3 acres, surrounded by dense oak forests and towering stone walls, resembling a fortress that hides long nights of revelry. Rumors whisper that Pacino turned the estate into a private pleasure haven, hosting parties filled with leggy models and tending to special plants behind the sealed fences, partly to supply those extravagant midnight celebrations. Stepping into the 300-square-foot mansion, the atmosphere radiates the glamour of a true Hollywood playboy. Gleaming wooden interiors, crystal chandeliers imported from Italy, and large abstract paintings on the walls reveal a refined sense of taste. The living room, with massive glass doors overlooking the shimmering Hudson River, serves as the main stage for parties where Dom Perignon champagne and fine red wines are elegantly displayed. On the shelf alongside the golden Oscar statuettes are photographs of Pacino posing with young women, his sharp gaze and commanding smile exuding power. The adjacent kitchen doubles as a disguised luxury bar, with glossy black marble countertops and oak cabinets stocked with rare bottles of wine from Bordeaux to Tuscany. A color-changing LED lighting system creates the atmosphere of an exclusive nightclub. In the center stands a long table where Pacino entertains his guests, sipping espresso from a $1,000 coffee machine, savoring dishes prepared by his private chef, while upbeat jazz flows through the Sonos sound system. The screening room, equipped with an IMAX-sized screen-top-tier surround sound and soft Italian leather seats, is where Pacino hosts private movie nights. His guests, often stunning women, enjoy wine and watch private clips from past parties. His bedroom is a temple of indulgence and pleasure. A king-size bed draped in Italian silk deep red velvet curtains, a mini-bar with a view of the Hudson, and shelves lined with fine jewelry, Creed perfumes, and an iPad used to organize his social calendar. In recent years, Al Pacino has transformed his Los Angeles mansion into the center of lavish gatherings events that many have witnessed and whispered about. He frequently brings home young women, from models to rising actresses, turning his mansion into the stage for endless celebrations. The nights begin with elegant dinners featuring Michelin-starred menus, then shift to wild parties by the outdoor pool, where color-changing lights dance to pulsating electronic beats. The women, dressed in glamorous gowns, are treated by Pacino to expensive champagne and luxurious gifts, designer handbags, and diamond jewelry. It's been said that he even holds private parties in a secret basement room accessible only to select guests. Despite his age, Pacino still carries the magnetic charm of a Hollywood kingpin, his mysterious smile and captivating gaze glowing amid a circle of admirers. The mysteries surrounding Pacino don't end with the parties. On foggy nights in Palisades, locals whisper about a hidden greenhouse within the estate, where warm golden light flickers through ancient oak branches like a scene from a noir film. Inside, Pacino spends hours tending to cannabis plants, a passion from his youth, carefully inspecting each leaf, adjusting the lights and humidity to ensure perfect growth within the secluded chamber. Residents have also reported seeing sleek black SUVs without license plates quietly slipping through the iron gates in the dead of night. The greenhouse suddenly glows bright, revealing Pacino's silhouette through the haze, holding a half-finished glass of red wine and a wooden box being passed across a table. A stranger discreetly hands him a thick envelope before departing, sealing what appears to be a secret deal. Everything happens swiftly, precisely, and silently, leaving only the sound of crickets in the night. As headlights fade down the misty road, the greenhouse sinks back into stillness. Only the rustling leaves and a faint trace of cannabis linger in the air, as if the night's mysteries had never happened. The neighbors, though curious, keep their whispers quiet, knowing well that such stories belong to the shadows and to the man guarding a secret only he understands. The mysteries surrounding Pacino stretch back decades to when he was a thin, restless young man wandering the smoky streets of the Bronx. Back then, Pacino wasn't the Godfather. He had no spotlight, no glory, only a troubled youth and an aching hunger to be seen. He survived on minor stage roles, small paychecks from bar gigs, and cheap liquor that kept him warm through cold winter nights. There were times he drank until he couldn't feel anything, waking up in an empty room with no memory of the night before. He later admitted to experimenting with stimulants not out of curiosity, but to numb the fear that haunted him. Fear of failure, fear of hunger, fear of never being known. New York in the 1960s was a city of smoke jazz and lost souls, and Pacino was one of them. He drifted from bar to bar, drunk, to the point of forgetting his way home, then showed up on stage the next morning with bloodshot eyes and the scent of whiskey still clinging to his collar. There were nights when he lashed out at his co-stars for no reason, threw his script to the floor, and sat in silence for hours like a man imprisoned by his own mind. Those who witnessed it said Pacino was both blazing and dangerous, a great talent being consumed by his own recklessness and self-destruction. In addition, Pacino had a deeply complex and emotionally charged relationship with Diane Keaton, one that began on the set of The Godfather in 1971, where they portrayed Michael Corleone and Kay Adams. The glances they exchanged in front of the camera slowly blossomed into a passionate yet turbulent love story behind the scenes. For 16 long years, their on and off relationship unfolded through endless nights in New York, golden afternoons under the Tuscan sun, and countless heated arguments about what the future might hold. Keaton yearned for a promise of permanence, but Pacino, ever the restless, free-spirited artist, always hesitated, leaving behind an emptiness that time could never truly mend. Recently, the sudden death of Diane Keaton on October 11, 2025, at the age of 79 in her Los Angeles home, has raised suspicions among the police. They have summoned Al Pacino for questioning and placed him under close surveillance with a patrol car discreetly stationed near the oak-lined road leading to his estate. A source revealed that Keaton had visited Pacino in late September and was seen leaving his greenhouse carrying a small newspaper-wrapped package, her face visibly tense. Investigators now suspect that the secret activities inside the greenhouse, from meticulously tended marijuana plants to the mysterious thick envelopes, could be linked to a network far beyond what they had previously imagined. Meanwhile, Pacino seems lost in memory, often sitting alone in his living room, holding an old letter from Keaton written in the 1970s, a letter that spoke of their carefree days wandering Malibu's beaches, laughing together amid the haze of cannabis smoke and the crash of the waves. Now, as detectives tighten the circle around him, Pacino's gaze has grown distant, as if he were facing not only an investigation, but also the ghosts of everything he has lost forever. Amid the noise and speculation, people began to realize that Al Pacino has always had his own unique way of escaping the world driving. For him, every car is more than just a means of transportation. It's a moving sanctuary, a place where he can shut out all the noise and leave behind the questions that have no answers. Much like his career, Pacino's car collection isn't loud or ostentatious. It is refined, deliberate, and quietly full of meaning. On the winding roads of Palisades, Al Pacino is often seen driving his Lexus LX 570, a full-size luxury SUV valued at around $90,000. The vehicle perfectly reflects his spirit, durable, discreet, and effortlessly refined. Its 5.7-liter V8 engine, full-time four-wheel drive, and adaptive suspension allow Pacino to glide smoothly through snowy mornings along the Hudson River, or quiet drives to the film set. Inside the combination of fine leather and wood trim, a Mark Levinson sound system and tri-zone climate control creates a private sanctuary of silence for a man long accustomed to the world's noise. It is exactly the kind of car that the real-life Michael Corleone would choose to disappear in. When he wants a change of pace, Pacino opts for the Audi S5 Coupe Compact, powerful and elegant like a classic jazz tune. The two-door model, powered by a 349-horsepower turbo V6 and Audi's famous Quattro system, features a cabin wrapped in Napa leather with brushed aluminum trim and a Bang & Olufsen sound system that hums softly like a midnight melody. Priced around $55,000 or $60,000, it's not a supercar, but the perfect balance of performance and grace. "I don't drive the Audi," Pacino once said. "I talk to it. It answers me with its engine." To him, this coupe isn't just a car, it's a companion on long, quiet roads where he can think about life as if listening to an endless jazz improvisation. When winter covers the Hudson Valley in white, Pacino prefers his Range Rover Sport, the embodiment of British sophistication. The SUV, priced between $85,000 and $100,000, comes with air suspension, a panoramic roof, and Windsor leather interiors. To Pacino, it's more than transportation. It's a mobile villa where he rereads scripts or jots down bits of dialogue as the sun rises over the river. On weekends, when his mood turns freer, he switches to the Porsche Cayenne, a car that carries a hint of Scarface swagger, bold, sporty, yet refined. With a turbo V6 engine, leather interior, and precise steering, it easily crosses the $100,000 mark with high-end options. "Sometimes I drive the Porsche just to remember what freedom feels like," Pacino once confessed. The feeling of a man who no longer has to run, but still wants to, just to know he's alive. And finally, among his understated collection, only the silver Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG dares to speak loudly instead of whispering. With its legendary gull-wing doors, 6.2-liter V8 engine, delivering 563 horsepower and an original price around $200,000, it's a machine that evokes the glamorous era of old Hollywood, when Pacino and his peers drove along Mulholland Drive under the city lights of Los Angeles. A symbol of speed and a memory of a golden age that will never return. Just like the cars he drives, Al Pacino's wealth tells a story of quiet elegance and the endurance of an artist who never surrendered. After more than half a century in the business, the Bronx boy with Sicilian blood has earned hundreds of millions of dollars from stage, television, and film. Yet today, his net worth stands at around 40 million USD, a figure that reflects both glory and hard-earned lessons in spending management and humility. When he first took on the role of Michael Corleone in The Godfather 1972, Pacino was paid only $35,000, the salary of an unknown actor. By the sequel, his fee had jumped to $500,000 plus 10% of the profits, bringing him tens of millions over the following years. The Godfather Part III, 1990, pushed that to $5 million. And by the 1990s, Carlito's Way and Heat earned him between $5 and $6 million per film. Martin Scorsese's The Irishman reportedly paid $20 million, while HBO offered $10 million per television project from Angels in America to You Don't Know Jack, making Pacino one of the highest-paid actors in Hollywood. Still, Pacino was never just a money-making machine. He continued returning to Broadway, where he had once won a Tony Award, and directed Looking for Richard and Wild Salome as passion projects. Beyond acting, he signed a European coffee endorsement, licensed his image for the video game Scarface: The World Is Yours, and continues to receive royalties from his classic films on streaming platforms, earning anywhere from several $100,000 to over $1 million annually. Yet, at his peak came his downfall in the early 2000s. Pacino reportedly lost more than $50 million due to lavish spending and poor financial management. His living expenses once hit $400,000 per month, forcing him to take on critically panned films like 88 Minutes and Righteous Kill to stay afloat. Ironically, those for-the-money projects helped him preserve what he valued most, his creative freedom. Most of Pacino's fortune lies in real estate. In 1979, he purchased his estate in Palisades, New York, for about $375,000. Today, the property is worth over $10 million and sits on nearly 3 acres of land, surrounded by ancient trees and moss-covered stone walls. The main house spans more than 4,000 square feet, embodying a classic serene and secluded beauty, much like its owner. In addition, Pacino once owned a penthouse in Beverly Hills, an apartment in Manhattan, and a small house in Los Angeles. Yet he has never been the type to flaunt wealth. No yachts, no private jets, only private spaces where he can reflect and write scripts in peace. Beyond property, Pacino possesses an impressive collection of art and cinematic memorabilia paintings by 20th-century Italian artists, behind-the-scenes photos from The Godfather, and original scripts now yellowed with age. Some sources say he holds shares in several independent film projects and maintains his own small production company to support young filmmakers. His investments are modest, but deliberate in real estate and film stocks, steering clear of speculation. "I don't buy things that make me show off," he once said. "I buy things that make me silent and think." In contrast to his cold and intense on-screen persona, the real Al Pacino is a man of quiet and steadfast philanthropy. Throughout more than half a century in the arts, the man who once sent chills through the world in The Godfather has never viewed fame or fortune as the measure of success. To him, the truest value lies not in the number of films or the golden Oscars he has earned, but in how he uses the light of his fame to do good without needing anyone to know. Few would have imagined that after Cruising 1980 sparked intense controversy for its portrayal of the LGBTQ+ community, Pacino quietly transferred his entire paycheck into an irrevocable charitable trust, one whose earnings would for decades support human rights initiatives and LGBTQ+ organizations. He held no press conferences, made no public announcements, and even requested that his identity remain confidential when the funds were distributed. In his memoir, Sonny Boy Pacino wrote simply and poignantly, "I can't change the past, but I can leave something better because of it." Since then, Pacino has maintained a style of philanthropy that is silent yet steadfast. He has been a longtime supporter of the One Campaign, an initiative founded by Bono of U2 to fight global poverty, and has also worked with Make Poverty History Amnesty International, the Red Cross and the Children's Aid Society, on various international campaigns promoting human rights education and healthcare. Behind the scenes, Pacino funds scholarships for acting students and supports funds for stagehands and technicians, the often forgotten workers who form the backbone of the entertainment industry. In 2018, Pacino and Robert De Niro co-hosted a charity lunch auction for the Tribeca Film Institute, raising funds to support young filmmakers. Those who attended the event recalled that Pacino didn't say much. He simply smiled, signed a few old posters, and quietly left before the gathering ended. For him, charity isn't a moment for photographs. It's something you do when no one is watching. There have also been moments when Pacino's generosity was publicly recognized. He received the Jane Wyman Humanitarian Award from the Arthritis Foundation for his years of support toward arthritis research, a disease his mother had suffered from, in silence. Yet even as he stepped on stage to accept the award, Pacino said only one sentence: "I'm just the messenger. The real good lies in the hands that are doing the work out there." To his close friends, Pacino is known as a man with his own personal code of ethics: never showy, never preachy, always helping quietly when someone truly needs it. Once he covered the entire medical expenses of a young actor in his theater troupe without ever revealing his name as the donor. On another occasion, he donated a large sum to the Broadway Preservation Fund during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, with one simple request that his name not appear on the list of contributors. Amid the constant noise and glittering glamour of Hollywood, Al Pacino remains a rare and enduring symbol of quiet kindness. He once said, "I've played enough villains on screen, so in real life, I want to play the good man." Perhaps that is what makes this timeless legend truly great, not only for his immense talent, but also for the way he chooses to live with integrity and grace when the lights go out and no one is watching. Though famous for his extravagant lifestyle and fleeting romances, Al Pacino has never entered into marriage. However, he has 4 children with 3 different women, each of whom passed through his life like a distinct chapter in a never-ending novel. Pacino's first child, Julie Marie Pacino, was born in 1989 from his relationship with acting coach John Tarrant. She soon followed in her father's footsteps, becoming an independent filmmaker and producer in New York. Julie once said, "Growing up with someone like Al Pacino, you learn to value silence more than words." Pacino later had twins Anton James and Olivia Rose, born in 2001, with actress Beverly D'Angelo, who was his partner for nearly a decade. Though they never married, their relationship was considered one of the most stable periods in Pacino's life. He and D'Angelo have remained close friends and continue to co-parent their children together. In an interview, D'Angelo once said, "He's not the kind of man who says sweet things, but he's the kind of father who has never missed a single class his children have ever had." In 2023, at the age of 83, Pacino stunned the world by welcoming his 4th child baby Roman with young producer Noor Al-Fala, a woman more than 5 decades his junior. The news caused a media frenzy, with many questioning whether he was too old to be a father. Pacino, however, simply smiled and said, "Life is still unfolding, and I still have something left to love." Despite his many well-known and widely discussed romances, from Diane Keaton, his Godfather co-star, to Martha Keller, Penelope Ann Miller, and Lucilla Sola, a girlfriend nearly 40 years his junior, Pacino has never chosen to marry. He once explained, "I'm afraid of commitment. I've always felt that marriage is a role I could never truly or completely play." In his relationship with Diane Keaton, considered by many to be the greatest love of his life, Pacino missed several chances to take things further. Keaton once said, "I love Al, but he never really belonged to anyone. He only belongs to his art." From a lost boy in the Bronx to a Hollywood legend, Al Pacino's journey stands as a testament to the power of inner strength. He was once a dropout, hungry, and on the verge of losing himself, yet he never gave up. Every wound within him was transformed into energy, into depth, into performances so powerful that they could make the world fall silent. Pacino has never been just an actor. He is an entire school of art unto himself. A man who proved that true artistry is born from souls that have been broken and rebuilt. And perhaps that is why whenever we speak of Al Pacino, we don't just think of the spotlight or the golden Oscars, we think of those eyes. Eyes that have seen both darkness and light and still burn quietly to this very day. And that wraps up today's video. If you enjoyed this story about Al Pacino, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the journeys ahead. Share your thoughts below. What do you think could it be that in that tranquil garden in Palisades, the Godfather himself still tends to his secret cannabis plants as a quiet ritual of old age? Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video where Hollywood always hides more secrets than you could ever imagine.